Shalom to all of the Bialik family. I'd like to take us back to 1940. In May 1940, after a phony war of quite a few months of very little happening, the Germans finally invaded Western Europe to face the French and the Allied armies. They swept into France, and the Supreme War Council, involving the French and the British governments, met regularly. And finally, in June 1940, the Supreme War Council met for the last time. Churchill flew over to France and received the terrible news that the French surrender was imminent. Reynaud, the French Prime Minister, said they were outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and outmaneuvered. And Churchill was now faced with the sobering prospect that Britain alone would be facing the German onslaught. One island separated by just 22 miles of sea, with almost all of Western Europe under Nazi control. Churchill tried to talk Reynaud back into the fight, but the French were insistent. It was over. As he drove back to his plane, General Ismay accompanied Churchill. General Ismay was the chief of staff, and Churchill was understandably very glum. General Ismay tried to cheer Churchill up and said, well, you know, the Battle of France is over and the Battle of Britain will now begin. Churchill looked at Ismay and said, but you and I both know that we will be dead in a ditch within a month. Churchill knew that if the Germans got into Britain, there would be no trial, there would be no peaceful evacuation. He'd be taken down an alley and shot, and he was facing his own doom. Now, that was on the 13th of June, 1940. On the 18th of June, Churchill gave a very famous speech in the House of Commons, the finest hour speech, and he said this. He rallied the country, saying, the Battle of France is over and the Battle of Britain is about to begin. Upon this battle depends the survival of Christian civilization. Upon it depends our own British life and the long continuity of our institutions. The whole fury and might of the enemy must soon be turned on us. Hitler knows that he will have to break us in this island or lose the war. If we can stand up to him, all Europe may be freed, and the life of the world may move forward into broad, sunlit uplands. And he described this period as their finest hour. Churchill showed the mask of leadership. He knew he was facing a very challenging task. And you know what? It worked. The war did turn in a positive direction. The Russians joined the war. The Americans joined the war. It became a world war. And finally, after years of bitter struggle and terrible destruction, the forces of totalitarianism and Nazism were defeated. And Churchill, amongst others, was victorious. It's an incredible story about that mask of leadership. How when we face challenging times, we still need to present positivity. When we're parents working with our children at home during the trials of online learning, when we're worried for our own safety, whilst this health pandemic spreads across the world, we present a positivity. And if we learn from Churchill, if we stick by that positivity, if we plan well and put effort into everything we're doing, we will and we can come through. We can learn from that. Next week, we reconvene Digital Bialik. After a very successful trial, online learning continues. Our teachers will be teaching in ways that they had never envisaged just a month or two ago. Our students will be learning in ways that they too had never envisaged. And we will be parenting in ways that we had never envisaged. But we have a school community that comes together. We have teachers that are passionate about teaching and learning. We have students who are passionate about supporting each other and developing themselves. We have parents who are passionate about the best for their children. And we will make this an amazing and lifelong learning opportunity. And here at Bialik, we'll also be running our Creation Kinder. we'll be offering our P to 7 provision for families of essential workers. And as Daniel Andrews said, those who can work at home, those who can learn at home, must learn at home. And we'll support those at home and those who need to be at school as well. I'd like to thank everybody for all their effort in this. And we've got something that might help. Because next week, alongside Digital Bialik and our Creation Kinder and our small on-site provision, Nat and Deb will be reopening our Shuk. They will be donning their aprons and they will be bringing us the zucchini slices and pinwheels that we know and love. And on a Wednesday and on a Friday, we as families will be able to collect the amazing Shuk food and bring a taste of Bialik Shuk Babayit, to our own homes. So have a look at Facebook, have a look at the order forms, have a look at Flexi Schools, and you can order. And I wish you over Shabbat and over the coming weeks, health, health, and health. Thank you.